Hey there, it's Saturday afternoon. Figured I'd get out here a little bit. Got the end of the vise here, so we're gonna do most of the work right there. When we last left, I was talking about making a slip for the inside of the drawer, the bottom. This is where the bottom is going to get captured, and essentially I need to route out a groove. Normally you would do that in the sides of the drawer itself. You just put a groove inside there, but I'm a little worried about how thin these are, and I could probably get away with it, but I wanted to try a new technique. So we've got to put let's see if I can get it on camera, a groove in here, and then I'm gonna rip this down, take this piece off, so that way that'll get glued, essentially that'll get glued in here to capture a drawer. We do need to make sure certain things are done. Again, I got the face mark all figured out. So when I run the groove, I'm going to make sure the fence rides along that groove and it runs right in there. That's what's going to create it. This piece of wood has got reverse grain. I don't know if you can see the pattern of the grain in there, but it's going to cause trouble. I don't have the option of turning it around because I have to have the fence right along here, because I need to make sure that the groove is in the relative right spot. And there are ways to fix that, get around it. So we'll show you what it's done. I've already taken the time to mark out the groove. I took a marking gauge, a mortising gauge specifically, that's got the 2 pins. So these pins are the very same thickness as the blade, which is freshly sharpened on the plane. The fence to that first pin is the same distance as, as the fence to the side of the blade. And so that's going to make sure that I have everything all in the same amount. So when I set this up in here, again, I'm going to make sure that the side that has the face edge is facing me. All right, get everything out of the way so that way when I pull my arm back, I don't get hit. Rag in the can, the rag in the can oiler. I'm going to go and just lubricate what's going to hit the wood. That's just going to take away some of the resistance. And I'm going to start at the nose end. I'm making sure the fence is fully against here, so my left hand is pushing in towards the camera. My right hand is just kind of pushing forward. And I don't have this plane set very deep because I know I'm going to get tear out because of the nature of the wood. Like right now, I mean, look how ugly that looks, and I'm not overly concerned because if the bottom of the groove looks terrible, I don't care. You're never going to see it. No one's ever going to know about it. What I need to make sure is that the sides are good. And my guess is the sides are going to get a little frayed, and now you're saying, well, you just told me it needs to be good. What are we going to do? And I'll show you when we get to that point. If I was to start all the way back here, I'm going to, it's going to tear, and it's just going to keep getting deeper and worse, and that's why I'm working at the nose, because now there's less resistance. And once you get down past the top couple of layers, it becomes a little bit easier, because you don't have to worry about the top so much. Yeah, right now I'm mostly concerned about the tear out on the top of the top of the piece. So I'm a little surprised. This is going nice and smoothly. I thought this was area is going to be torn out, but it seems to be worse at the very end. And the shoe here is set to the depth. So once it stops cutting, then I stop going like down here. I don't know if you heard that, but it's not really cutting that much down there. So I'm actually very close down there. So I'm gonna go more here because this is coming out nicely. Huh. Okay. I'm a little surprised, pleasantly, but still. I can feel the tear out and the breakout down here, which has caused that to nosedive a little bit, which is fine because again, no one's ever going to see in there. And if that part is too deep, it's going to be a very small section, and the depth of the rest of the groove is going to dictate just exactly how far in the bottom goes. So it's actually going smoother than I thought. But let me show you what I was planning on doing. This is my rip saw that you see me use for dovetails. Albeit I don't really need to do it. I can see some tear out in the bottom. So one of the tricks of the trade, I'm taking this, and I don't know if you can see it, I'm using my fingers here. I'm pulling it towards me. And what I'm doing is I'm using the side of the groove I've created, and I'm making a little bit of a groove in there, which is going to help with the tear out. It's still going to tear out, but because the fibers are now broken, it's going to plane a lot smoother. Now I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to push it against the side. So now I'm going to kind of push it as if I'm going towards the camera. I can feel that there's a hump in the middle. Oh, but you don't really need to get rid of that dust. I just don't like looking at it. Hit it with a little bit more oil. And let's continue. See, now I can tell between the oil and cutting the inside, it's going so much. So I'm using a lot less resistance pushing forward. And if you notice, I'm not standing in one spot, just pushing and pushing and pushing. My whole body is moving with the plane. Like I feel almost as if my right elbow is tucked into my side, and it's the force of my body. It's much larger than just my arm to get the momentum to go forward. Now you see that it's barely cutting. It's cutting a little bit right in the middle, not nearly enough to be significant. So I'm fairly confident that that groove is as thick as I want it to be. And I am happy with the way that it looks. But I'm going to show you a little bit, because I have a lot of extra wood here to work with. I'm not as concerned, but what I would do is take another plane, say this didn't go as smooth as I want, take another plane, sit it right there, and just very slowly, very carefully plane it, because I still have to make sure this stays square until I get down past any tear out. Just make the top nice and smooth. I'm going to go kind of take off the corners, break the arris as we call it, because I don't want to get a splinter in there. But now by doing that, I took the top down just a little bit. I'm going to take the plane again and again. If it starts tearing out in the bottom, I don't care because no one's ever going to see it. But now that it's so far removed, it's about 1/4 of an inch down, I don't really have to worry about the top anymore. And then you see that first pass. That first pass only took the amount that I took off with the other plane. So now I got the top that is very well smoothed. To get rid of any of the debris, I have got 180 grit sandpaper. Benefit of hand tool woodworking. You don't sand a whole lot. I'm kind of pulling this in. I'm kind of sanding the inside. I'm going to sand the inside of the other side. Doesn't really need to be, but I'm just, when the time comes, I fit the bottom in there. I just want it to be smooth. Now I'm going to kind of hit the corner that was created, and that's just going to, again, get rid of any friction. And then when I put the bottom in, it's not going to fracture the corners. And let's just hit the top as All right, so there we go. I've got both sides of these are grooved the same. The next step, and I don't have it figured out yet, so I'm not going to actually do it. I'm going to mark off an amount here that will go a little bit deeper than the groove, so it's probably going to come down to, you know, here, and it doesn't really matter. I am going to lose this thickness off the bottom of the drawer, because that's going to be the overall thickness of the bottom. Maybe not necessarily the exact thickness, but the top here is going to be flush with the bottom of the board. I'm going to try to set up the bottom piece so that way it sits right along there, maybe with a decorative groove going around, but it'll be flat going across, or if anything, the slip will be a little bit proud of the bottom. But my goal is to make the slips and the bottom in one plane. The bottom, on the other hand, not as important. I'll show you that when we get to it. I'm probably gonna get the top nice and flush and even all along, but the bottom I'm gonna kind of slope it in. And again, unless somebody takes the drawer out of the piece, looks at the drawer, flips it over, they're never gonna see that. So I don't really have to worry about it. I will know it's there. It'll make me feel better. It'll look better than not. But that was that is running the grooves. We will make I'll rip those down and get the pieces specifically. And when now that this is all, you know, put together, we'll fit the slips in, and I'm going to glue them to the inside. So I've got to glue those in. You know, and they all have to match up. The grooves all have to be even with each other. I'm going to glue those in, take it apart, then I'm going to glue the box together. I got to get the bottom fitted, glue the box together. So it's a multi-step process. I've never actually done it this way before, and I'm just kind of interested to see how it works out. But it is, or at least I would say it is. It used to be a fairly common practice when you were making drawers out of thin pieces of wood. If you have any antique furniture in your house or something like that, yeah, look for it. You might see that they were there. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.